Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from. We want to welcome you on Matters of Life. And today we are going to talk about matters of life, as I've already said. And today we are blessed to have our elder Asari here, who is an accountant, to talk about, about opening business in the UK. So if you are in the UK and you want to open a business in the UK, Eda is here to, talk about how you can, open an account. And we know we're going to talk more about it. So at this juncture, I would like Elder to tell us what he does before we go on with the questions. So Elder, you are welcome to
Thank you, Mommy.
the
Thank
program.
you for having me, and thank you for inviting me. So as Mommy has rightly said, my name is Elder Asari. I am currently the head of finance in Swanton Healthcare Group,
Okay.
With a turnover of about 150 million.
Wow.
I'm also a managing partner of Danko & Co. Chartered Accountants, where we go about, at the moment, 100 clients across UK and Ireland. Yes, so that's what I do now.
Wonderful, wonderful. You're going to learn a lot today.
Yes,
yeah. My name is Mary Linda Tedeku. I'm your host for tonight. Sorry I didn't tell you earlier, but I'm the one hosting the program. And today I believe we are going to learn a lot from our elder, Asari. Whether you want to open a business or not, maybe you have someone who wants to open a business, it will also be of a help. So please be attentive as we go on with our questions. So the first question is, what is my business idea and what problems does it solve?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I think it's a very good question. Business idea is any idea that try to solve a problem. So basically, any idea that will be able to solve a problem or an issue is a business idea.
Right.
So if you have a problem and you're able to identify the solution to the problem, that is a business idea.
Okay.
So there are a lot of problems, as you agree with me. So the world is looking for people who bring an idea to solve solutions to solve that problem. So you'll be able to bring that idea that will be able to solve those problems. That's basically a business idea.
Business idea.
And you can get this business idea from so many ways. It could be that you look at the market and you identify gaps in the market, and therefore that will be your business idea. It can be a service that you provide, a new service. It can be that it's a hobby that you are so interested in. By monetizing that hobby, that becomes your business idea.
Right.
It can also be that you got a skill set from your career, and based on that, you can use that as a business idea and build your own company or a business from it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And I believe if you are looking to open a business, you have learned something about, having a business idea.
Yes.
Thank you, Eda. So let me go on my second question. I say, who is my target? Who is my target market? And what are their needs references?
Okay, so basically your target market is any potential customer, any customer who potentially will be able to want your product is your target market.
Okay.
So for example, I live in Rugby, and I'm from African background, and if I want to open, say, a corner shop for Africans, the first thing I have to think about is, if I open an African shop, how many people that lives in Rugby will be able to patronize my product? So if I'm able to identify that, those will be my target market.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very important you identify your target market. The reason being that once you identify your target market, you'll be able to understand their behavior and therefore target your product or your service towards them.
Oh, good. So you just don't wake up, get up and go and open a business anywhere.
Anywhere.
Maybe you think this area is, affordable. So, but you have to look at the target.
Very important. I'm just coming from Griffon, and Griffon is predominantly white area.
Okay.
So if you go to Griffon and you are an African, you want to open an African shop, the likelihood is that you're not going to get anybody
Going to
buying your
lose.
product and you're going to lose.
Lose.
So it's very critical that you look at your target market because
Right.
that will drive your business. Your business.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the next third question is, what is the market size and demand for my product or service?
Please, can you repeat the question again?
What is the market size?
The size of the market.
Yeah, market size and demand for my product service.
Okay, so market size essentially is within your customers or within a particular market. How many people can you target?
Okay.
So as I use my example as rugby, for example, so my market size will be how many, say, Africans who are within the rugby environs who will be able to patronize my product. So essentially, if you talk about the size of your market, it means that it's your customers or your customers within the market who will be able to patronize your product.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you have to know the size.
The size of your
before you
market.
go and
Exactly.
open there.
So if you go to rugby, for example, you can do a market research and identify how many Africans possibly live in rugby. Those will be, or if you are in the business already and you've got a sizable market, so out of maybe 500 people in rugby, as an example, 200 people is likely to patronize your product. Those are your market size, sort of. So those are the people you are likely to target.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yeah. So my next question is, who are my main competitors?
Yeah.
And how do I differentiate my business from this?
Very good question.
Who am I competing?
Yeah.
You know?
So basically, competitors come from the word compete.
Okay.
So who are competitors? If you talk about competitors, they are people who are supplying the same service or the same product.
In the same area.
So if I go back to my Ghana, my market, if I have a corner shop, my competitors will be other corner shop that sell the same product as myself.
Yeah.
So those are your competitors. And how do you differentiate yourself from your competitors? There are so many ways you can do that. But to be very basic, all that you are trying to do is to make yourself different from others.
Right.
It could be product differentiation. Maybe you sell something different from the others.
Yes.
It could be price differentiation.
That's what I'm
Maybe you reduce your price a bit,
bit.
so that people can then come and buy your product. But when you talk about price differentiation, it's a whole ball game together.
Okay.
The price differentiation also depends on what we call the elasticity of your product, because some product, if they will say if it's elastic, when you increase the price, then the percentage of people that will move away from a price is extremely high.
Yeah.
And there's products which we call it inelastic. When your product is inelastic, when you increase the price, the people that will switch away from your product will be very minimal. So you have to understand all of these before you even think about price differentiation.
Yeah.
You can also differentiate through what we call reputational differentiation. There are some people who have got reputation, and simply because of that, people will be drawn to their product. So you have to know all of this before you be able to start differentiating your product from your customers. But there are a lot of them which, once you understand what you are offering, you'll be able to analyze the market and therefore identify those things that differentiate you from your competitors.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you for that illustration, because I think we Africans are not doing well in terms of comparing to Asians.
Yes.
Because what I know is when Africa open a shop, because let me use an example. I know I'm from a Ghanaian, so I'm a Ghanaian. So let me use a Ghanaian man who opened a Ghanaian shop.
Yes.
And we know him, but because the Asian shop, opposite or close to her is very cheap, cheaper than his. Yeah. The Africans always go to the the Asian shop because everybody wants to
Absolutely.
So let's take this advice, and if you have to reduce it a bit, because I believe when you reduce it and gain your customers, there will be obviously. So even if you increase it later, they will not even realize that that you have increased it. So I believe we have to do that in that area as Africans, so that we can.
One thing that you could even do is that we call it price differentiation. For example, even within the shop, you can identify the product that are high selling.
Okay.
So those high selling products, possibly what you can do is to reduce the price. And then those that are not high selling, for example, you can then increase the price.
All right.
So because if you reduce the low high selling product, that will attract the traffic
People.
into your shop. Wherever, then you can make it up with your low selling product.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you so much. Yeah. So let me go to my next question because of so we've talked about market size, and okay, let me go to number 5 and then. So what is my business model and revenue streams?
A very good question. So business model, people normally call it business plan.
Okay.
So business plan is essentially what you are going to do to make profit
Okay.
over a period of time. So anything that you are going to do to make profit out of your business is business plan. So business plans encompass everything concerning the company over a period of time, over like 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
Okay.
And then when you talk about the stream of revenue, that's what sort of product or service you are going to provide that will, and what is going to give you that revenue. So based on your business plan, you'll be able to analyze what are my income stream. For example, I'm going to open a shop in Rugby, African shop in Rugby. My income stream will be, if I'm selling Ghana product, that will be my income stream. So income stream is whatever you are providing to your customers that's likely to give you the income.
Okay.
That is your income stream.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So what are my short-term and long-term goals for business? What are my, if I'm doing a business, what should I, consider as a long-term or short-term?
Very good, very good. So the short-term goals, basically we call it objectives. So anything within 1 month to 1 year, you can classify it as a short-term goal.
Okay.
Example, if you're in a business and you're thinking about employing somebody, that could be a short-term goal.
Okay.
You are thinking about cutting costs, that could be a short-term goal. And we have the long-term goal. Long-term goal normally start from between 2 to 7 years or 2 to 5 years.
Okay.
One example of a short-term goal is having a market dominance, growth, or increasing your brand and awareness. So those are strategic, we call it strategic decision that you have to take to be able to move your company from where it is now to the next 10 years. So this long-term goal, the question you ask yourself is, where do I want to be in the next 7 years or the next 8 years? And there are issues that you need to factor into in coming up with your long-term goal. If your short-term goal normally is what you have to do today or the next 6 months to be able to move your company forward.
Oh, good. Yeah. So before you start, you have to sit and analyze. All these things before you go into whether you want the short term or long term before you enter into the business. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So the next question is, what is my marketing and sales strategy?
Very good. So marketing strategy is basically anything that you do to put your name out there, to put the business out there, to let the customers know you are there. And the sales strategy is once they know that you are there, what you are going to use to convert them to be customers. So they are two different things.
Okay.
The marketing strategy is how to get the product out there so that people are aware, people will be aware of that product. And once they are aware, the sales strategy then comes in, how to convert them from being somebody who is aware or people who are aware of your product to people who will buy your product.
Okay. That's good. So, well, maybe I'll come to that before we finish. Because you're in the UK, maybe I would like to know maybe some of the, businesses that can function well here. So, yeah. So let me go on my the next question, and then maybe I'll bring that in later.
Yes.
So, what legal strategies should I choose?
Yeah.
What legal strategies should I choose? E.g., trader or partnership or limited or company.
Yes.
Or other.
Very good. So we live in the UK, so but this is general knowledge anyway. So we have mainly, there are a lot, but mainly 3 types. We have the sole trader you just talked about. You have the partnership, and we have what we call the limited liability company. and we also have limited by trustee, but that's not a profit-making company. So if you go by these three, it depends on several factors. So if you take sole proprietor, for example, or a sole trader is somebody who is self-employed.
Okay.
So if you're a sole trader, all the profit will be for you, and all the liabilities will be for you.
Yeah.
So the advantage of sole trader is that you own the business.
Okay.
The disadvantage of the sole trader is that all the liability are on you. So should in case the company go into
Collapse
difficulty.
or something.
Yes. So, and again, if you're a sole trader, it depends on your startup capital. So if you are starting a business now and you haven't got enough strong, if the capital outlay is not that big, then you can start as a sole trader because it doesn't demand a bigger capital outlay.
Okay.
So that's typically a sole trader. And again, with the sole trader, you don't necessarily have to even register. All that you have to do is register as a self-employed, and you are good to go.
Okay.
When you talk about company, for example, company, it depends. If you want to, normally in our setting, if you want to save tax, then you have to then go in the company route. Because when you are a sole trader, you are going to pay tax and NI likely over 32%.
Oh, the sole trader riser. Oh.
Keep it at
I thought you said that
32%.
one you don't have to be taxed or something.
No, you have to be taxed depending on your profit. You're going to be taxed, and you also pay national insurance as well if you're a sole trader.
Right.
However, and you also pay a tax of 32%, even if you earn about 50 onwards. Then you are going to be even in a higher tax bracket, and you are likely to pay almost up to 50% tax.
Okay.
Whereas if you are a company, then you are limited to paying a tax of 19%. So if you move from a sole trader to a company, then you are likely to save tax. However, with a company, there are a lot of paperwork that you have to do. You have to set up the company. You have to do what we call the confirmation statement every year. You have to submit your company to company house. You have to submit your tax returns to HMRC every year. So you probably will need an accountant to be able to do that for you. Whereas if you are self-employed, you wouldn't need that. So when you're a company, as we call it, the company is limited by the shares that you have. So if the company is supposed to collapse, or if a company collapse, your liability is limited to how much you have contributed into the business. Whereas when you are self-employed, then you have to have all the burdens on you. So it all depends on where you are in the business. Like the startup business, what is the capital outlay? What is your risk? Are you risk averse? Do you have enough money to be able to start the business? So all those have to be factored into in deciding which structure you want to go into. If you want to go into partnership is basically two people coming together, contributing money to start a business. So if you've got somebody who has got enough funds and you've got enough funds, you can then decide to go into a particular partnership where you share the profit and you share the risk.
Okay.
Basically, so that is the
that
partnership.
one you share both the profit and the risk.
Profit and the risk.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on your risk averse, the tax efficiency, the startup, and a lot of things determine. But if you are in doubt, that's why we've got accountants around. If you talk to accountants, they will be able to advise you which best structure you have to take.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I want to ask this before I go on, ma. If you don't have any experience, I know so far I might be wrong. Property is a good business at the moment, but is there any business that one can do apart from properties? Yeah, maybe either if the person is on his own and he wants to start a business with, maybe he has small money and he wants to start a business. Is there any business that you can suggest or you can advise?
Yeah, there are so many businesses.
Okay.
But I'll be much reluctant to sit in here and advise you on a business. But if you want to talk about business, there are so many platforms, or there are so many. Probably I will leave my contact with you. If you call me, we can talk about a lot of business that are booming around, especially in our African context, which people are very eager and people are making it. I have a client who started a business, which I will not mention because he wouldn't like it. I didn't ask him before. He started a business. He came to me when his turnover was £20,000. As of yesterday, when we were doing his accounts, he had 1.8 million turnover.
Wow.
1.8 million. So there are so many business out there, but it's a matter of you getting to know those sort of business and having the willpower, the determination, and being able to go through the stress to be able to do it. But there are a lot of companies
It's always
out
the
there.
stress that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know you don't want to mention any business, but I want us to advise our people,
Yes.
especially with this online business that is going on. Is it
Yes.
safe? Because
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about
There are safe ones there.
Okay.
And there are
unsafe the one
unsafe
that's
ones there. So as I said, these are very technical industries where you have to be very careful in going into. If I advise somebody that go into this or go into that, the person might not necessarily go and talk to right person, and then you go into it, and then for you can come and blame us that we have advised wrongly. So I would say there are so many business opportunities out there. As mommy you said, there are a lot of people who are monetizing things on YouTube. At the moment, they have things that you can even do on YouTube by clicking on YouTube or clicking on Facebook that will generate money to you. However, all these things are something that you have to look into and to be very convinced and sure, because there are scams out there as well.
Definitely.
So if you are not careful and you get into scam, it can be scam. So be very careful in going into an online business. But there are a lot of online business out there as well that I will encourage people to look into and go into.
And with that, do you need an experience to do that? Because you have to have the knowledge of.
Yes, yes, there are a lot of experience in there. There are people who have been there, who have done it. So once you get in touch with the right people, they will be able to direct you and hold your hands and move you to the right context. Me advising or giving an advice on a TV like that, it will not be feasible.
Yeah,
Talk to the right context, and then they will give you the right advice.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So before I open a business, how do I register my business or my company? Company house, how do I?
A very good question. So we are in UK. So if you want to open a company, I will use UK as context because that's where I operate.
Okay.
So if you want to register a company, first of all, you have to identify the name of your company. So once you know your name of your company, you go to HMRC website and you find out how to register a company. You follow the process. Normally, once you have the name of the company, talk to an accountant, and he will do that for you for a very small fee.
Okay.
It's not difficult to be set up by an accountant.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it's an accountant who open the company.
Individuals can also do it if you are very good in reading.
You know what you are doing.
You can follow the process.
Okay.
The only thing that probably normally people get into, and they call me, for example, based on my experience, when they get to what sort of shares are we supposed to invest in the business. That's where sometimes you have what we call ordinary shares, you have A shares and all of that. That's when you probably will need somebody to be able to advise you.
Okay.
But apart from that, most of the forms are tick boxes. Once you can tick them and get your company open.
Okay. If you don't have the confidence, then you have to contact an accountant to help you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So what license or permit do I need to operate my business?
Generally, you don't need any license, unless you are going to a specific industry.
Okay.
Each industry has their own regulation. So, for example, if you are going to a care industry and you are in England, for example, obviously you have what we call CQC certificate. If you are going to be a professional accountant, probably you need your professional qualification before you can go into. But if you are going to a general business, buying and selling, you don't need any certificate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Unless that's great. Yeah. So the next one, what are the regulations and compliance requirements for my industry?
Yes. So again, it depends on the industry that you are in. Every industry has got different compliance requirements. So once you decided or identified the industry you are going to, speak to the people within that industry. They will be able to tell you what things you need. For example, I am an accountant and I'm in the accounting industry. If I want to set up an accounting firm in UK, I have to have what we call a practicing certificate.
Okay.
So I need my practicing certificate for over a certain period of years before I can start. Without that, I cannot certify results for accounts for people. If you are in a care company, obviously you also need your CQC and other things and your regulations. So once you decide which industry you are going to, then you can determine whom to speak to, and then you will be able to be abreast yourself with the necessary regulation or requirement that is required. That are required.
Right. That's good. Thank you for that. Yeah. What are my projected avenues, expenses and profits gainings?
So I think the projected revenues. So every company or every product you are going to sell is likely to bring a revenue. So once you decide to go into a business, you have to identify what will be my source of income, or will be my source of job. How would the source of income come about? Are they going to be regular? Are they going to be bi-monthly? Are they going to be a yearly? So you have to identify all those streams. That will again feed into your business plan. When you are drawing the business plan, your business plan will be able to identify all these sleep scope, because once you identify that, you also have to then consider what will be my expenditure. So if your income is coming in on a monthly basis, then you can also plan your expenditure on a monthly basis.
Okay.
If your income comes in quarterly, then you can then split your expenditure to match it. It's all about planning to make sure that you have a healthy cash flow to run the business.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So I think you have every business. If you want to go to every business, you have like a capital that you have to
Start with.
Is there any specific capital that I need to start a business? You know, you can start with anything you have.
It depends.
But sometimes if you don't take care, you start with something and you lose at the end of the year. So is there any step up capital that you can start
it depends. It depends.
Okay.
So if you are starting as a sole trader, depends on the industry you are going through, depends on the company you are or the business you are going to start. So you are starting a sole trader and buying few things here and there. Probably you don't need any capital. All that you need is a small capital to start with. So if you are going to start with a business that requires a big capital outlay, obviously you need a lot of money. In this country, for example, you can't just start a business. In our context, I mean, you can't just start a business and just go to the bank and say, I want to start a business, unless you have a solid business plan that the company will buy into. Okay. Normally, that company will give you loans based on your balance sheet. So you probably start from a small position, build it up, get a very good balance sheet, and you use the balance sheet then to go for the loan.
Okay.
As the company then expands, then you can start thinking about, do I need investors to come in? Okay. And then it can go to the extent that you can even, you can go public, where you flow shares on the market and then it brings some money in. Okay. So there are stages that you have to go through to be able to get there. But for a basic start, all that you need to do is have a minimum capital to start. If you are self-employed, for example.
A minimum.
A minimum is a minimum, depending.
Depending on what you have.
It's very relative, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so how would I manage my business, finance, or accounting?
Okay. Again, if you are a sole trader, you probably would be able to manage it yourself. So if you are a sole trader, it's your income. How the money comes in? It probably comes through your bank. So you have your income, and then you have your expenditure, and then you take your income from your expenditure and you get your profit. If you are in a big you are a company, then it's a whole ball game altogether. As I said, you probably have to do your accounts, send it to the company house, send it to the HMRC, file your returns. That you probably will need an accountant or maybe an administrator to be able to help you to put your books together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So if you can't do it, then you have to find an accountant to help you to do it. I think it's always best if you don't know
what you're doing. Speak to the accountant.
Somebody to advise you on what to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay. Legal tax consideration.
So I guess you're talking about. So considering whether are there tax consideration? So again, if you are in a business, no business wants to pay tax. So you have to look at how.
Can you repeat that? No
I said
business.
no business wants to pay tax. They want to get money. They want to save
Okay.
tax.
Okay.
So you have to find a way of saving tax, not avoiding tax.
Okay.
You have to make sure you save
Right.
tax. There are things that you can do to legally save tax.
Okay.
As I was telling
Okay.
you. So for example, if you are a sole trader and you are higher earner on sole trader, if you move to company, automatically you can save a bit of tax there. So if you are in a business and you are in a dilemma as to how to save tax, you always speak to your accountant. They'll be able to advise you how best you'll be able to save tax. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. Let me go to, I just want to jump some of the questions. Yeah. So how would I recruit, train, or retrain employers in this country? If you have a company and maybe a sole trader or something, how can I recruit
Okay.
or train my employers? Or
Very good question. So this country, if you want to employ anybody, you have to register the company or the business or the sole trader as an employer.
Okay.
So you just don't go and said, please come and work for me. And at the end of the day, you start paying them.
Okay.
The government will hold you accountable.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be breaching the law.
Okay.
So if you are in this country and you want to employ somebody, you have to register as an employer.
Okay.
When you register as an employer, HMRC will send you an employer number and a tax code, a tax office number.
Okay.
That then you will be in a position to employ somebody. So at that point, it's up to you whom you want to employ, how much you want to pay. Nobody cares about how much you want to pay. So far as HMRC is aware that you are employing somebody. And in terms of employing, it depends on which industry you want to. So are you going to employ somebody who is skilled, somebody who is not skilled? All those things you have to then sit down and analyze with your team, or if you are alone, then analyze and see what you really need, and then you go into the market and get them. But again, if you are not experienced, you can talk to, there are a lot of agencies out there who recruit for people. You can talk to those agencies and they will then help you to recruit the right candidates for your business.
Okay, so we have to avoid illegal, because I know sometimes people employ people from backdoor and they pay them without taking tax from them, or pay them cash,
Yes.
And so if you are caught,
then you are in trouble.
Thank you for advising us on that, because it's better you do it the right way.
The right way.
And thank you so much. So how I think I've asked this about recruitment, and what insurance policy do I need for my business? Okay. E.g., public liability or employee liability.
It also depends on the industry you are in. Every industry has got their own requirements when it comes to insurance. So whichever industry you are in, try and identify what sort of requirement the government wants you to take, and therefore then go for the right industry. Then the one you mentioned, I believe, is mainly referred to the care industry. You have to have a public liability insurance just to cover the people you are working with. But each industry has got their own insurance requirement. For example, if you are an Uber driver, for example, you probably have to go for insurance where it will cover you and your client, basically. So if you are a nurse and you are operating, you probably have to go for an insurance that will cover any negligence,
both
all of
you
that.
And your clients.
So every industry has got its unique insurance that you have to undertake. So once you are in the industry, find out what insurance you need to take, and please take them so that when anything goes wrong, we can come to your aid.
Okay, so if you have a care company, you have to register all the workers.
It depends. We have something public liability insurance. It covers most of the things that you do. But it's not only that. We got, for example, I work in a healthcare company. We got about 8 insurance, different insurance,
Oh, wow.
public insurance, motor insurance, theft insurance. You've got so many insurances
Okay.
that you have to pay for. So
Okay.
you don't have one specific insurance. There are a lot of insurance that you can go for.
Go for, okay, depending on what you want
You are
to.
doing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Eda. And so I want to ask, so what are the risk management?
Yeah, every business has got risk. So it comes to thinking short term and long term, looking at your long term strategy. What are the risks that I need to identify so far as my business is concerned? My client that I talked to you about, for example, when we were analyzing his risk, we realized that he's got only sole supplier. So his risk is that he's got only sole supplier.
Okay.
So it's God forbid if he's to lose that sole supplier, that 1.8 million is gone. So at any point in time, you have to be able to analyze your business and see what are my risks, what are my opportunity, because something we call SWOT analysis, your strength, your weakness, opportunities, and threats. So you have to understand all of that so far as your business is concerned, and you'll be able to use your opportunities to overcome your threats, and then use your strength to overcome your weakness.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I think I need to ask this one. The time is going, but it's very important in terms of network. So, what professional network and business support organization can I join?
Oh.
But I mean, a business, you know, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many business out there. It all depends on where you find yourself. So if you're an accountant, there's no need going to join a nursing association. So you need to find where you find yourself. For example, you could be starting a small scale business where you are opening a shop. You don't need an association to open a shop. However, there could be people around who have done the business before, who have been there, done it. You can talk to them and borrow some experience from them. So it's not necessarily joining an association, but it's having a networking, be able to talk to people, experienced people within that industry to give you a heads up really as to where you are going to. I think it's very, very important you do that.
Yeah. To talk to somebody who have already been there, you know, and then networking till you meet a lot of people,
Absolutely.
you know, talking. Yeah, so I think it's very, very important. Our time is fast spent. We've got 2 minutes. So I believe maybe we'll have another time because there's a lot of questions I didn't ask, you know, in terms of opening, you know, business in the UK. But we have learned a lot, you know, tonight. And so within these 2 minutes, I will allow you to tell us anything that is relevant, you know, for anyone who wants to open a business in the UK. Anything that I have not asked, you know, that is relevant, that will help somebody out there, you know.
Thank you. It has always been my passion to tell, especially people from our background, to go into business. I always tell my people, my friends, that you can never be rich working for somebody. You can never be rich working for somebody. If you really want to succeed in terms of financial sources, then you have to think about opening your own business or doing something new. And I want to encourage people from our background to look at opening their own business, look at owning their own business. That's the difference between us and the Asians. The Asians are looking for opening their own, being their own boss, whereas we are always looking for working for somebody and getting paid. And I always say, nobody work for himself and be rich. If you want to be rich, you want to be affluent in terms of finance, then you have to think about opening your business. There are a lot of businesses out there. There are a lot of problems out there that need solving. And I'm encouraging all of us, look around, think through the issues at hand in the world and see whether you can bring solution to some of them. And that probably will be your breakthrough. And then that will make you the billionaire and the billionaire that we want to see.
Thank you so much. I think we've learned a lot. I believe when it comes to business, because people are afraid of the risks, you know, they want to go in. Sometimes I say to myself, I'm not a businessman, you know. But I think there's always people who can advise you, who can coach you to go into small business or, you know, other business. So don't be afraid if you want to open a business in the UK. I believe Eda said you can talk to him if you want to. So we can leave his number. We're going to leave his number on the screen. If you want to talk more about business, you know, opening a business in the UK, you can always talk to Eda, who is an accountant, or if you know any accountant who can help you do that. Don't be afraid. I've learned a lot. Maybe I'm going to take a step of faith, to
Yeah.
do something. So we want to take this opportunity, Elder, to thank you so much for coming all the way
Thank you, Mommy,
from
for having
Coventry
me.
to honor our invitation. We have learned a lot, and we want to thank you so much for
Thank you,
that.
Mommy.
We believe this will not be the the first. We have more to talk about, and so
Thank
we're
you.
going to have Elder on the program another time to talk about another topic. God bless you so much.
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you
Okay,
for having me.
viewers, this is how far we want to bring our program. This is how far we can go. Our time is fast spent. We want to thank you for watching this program. I believe you are blessed, and you're going to also bless somebody by sharing this program. God bless you so much. And we want to, once again, my name is Mary Linda Tediku, who is your host for tonight. And we want to bring this program to an end. See you again. I want to also thank, I always, forget to thank my media guys. They are doing very, very well. They are doing very, very well. I want to say God bless you so much for your hard work, and I appreciate everything you are doing. God bless you. See you another time in our next episode. God bless you.